Hello, Facebook. Hello, it is Sunday and it is warm out. I didn't get to run this morning. I'm going to get out and run here in a few minutes. Things to carry some errands around. Haven't really done much work yet, which is great. I've been relaxing today. Let's see. I want to tell a story about fake wild salmon, why so many restaurants, or why a restaurant is confused about the salmon they're serving. A lot of restaurants serve farm-raised salmon and they're actually calling it wild. And there's a lot of reasons why that happens. Some people know it and some people lie about it and some people are confused and some people are misled by the salesperson. I want to talk to you about a true story that just happened to me literally this week on this, and just how sometimes how tough or misleading things can be in the food industry. So I'll share that story. It's Sunday. It's our last day for the ribeye special. We open at 3 o'clock today. The last day for the ribeye special, $9.99 to go. Tomorrow starts new specials. We're gonna have a salmon dish this week. We're gonna have a meatball dish this week. We made some meatballs with some local grass-fed beef, so we'll announce all that. All that will get announced tomorrow morning in an email on our Facebook Live. All the details on that. Tonight is our daily $9.99 for our shrimp curry green mussel, Thai green curry sauce with shrimp and mussels. That is tonight. That's really a good dish. I might do a week-long special of that as well. So if you're just tuning in to our $9.99 specials, last week I asked a question. Would you rather us do nightly different ones or rather us run the same one all week? And a lot of people were saying run the same ones all week to give us a chance to get it. And honestly, for us in the kitchen, it's much easier to prep something for all week than every single night trying to do something different. So don't worry, we're gonna get creative. We're gonna do a bunch of cool things that are gonna be $9.99. We did the $9.99 starting back when COVID hit in the very, very beginning in March. A lot of restaurants are doing meal packs, $40 for 4 people. But if you're only 3 people or 2 people or 6 people, that doesn't work. So we decided right off the bat, just do per person. So then you can order 2D meals, 3 meals, 4 meals, 6 meals, whatever you want to do. And people come in and they'll order like 6 meals from us. So it's not uncommon at all. Let's see, wine dinner tomorrow night, New World Wines, $25. We'll be waiting for Cuomo's press briefing tomorrow, see what his updates are on keeping us open, closing us, whatever. New York City is closing, I believe, tomorrow, or today's their last day for indoor dining. Let's hope that doesn't happen to us. Let's hope everything is safe. Let's hope we can still continue to do what we do. I mean, even if we're closed indoors, we're still going to ramp up our groceries and still do lots and lots of takeouts. So stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for Aroma Time Direct, which is going to be our grocery business. We're going to officially brand that Aroma Time Direct and really hit a lot of Airbnbs in the area and consumers as well, and locals as well. So stay tuned for that. My graphic artist was doing a bunch of graphic arts for us this morning. I was on the computer with him really early this morning going over some things. So we're going to revamp that whole page on our website for groceries and a lot more pictures of what you're buying. Really, really cool. We'll have flyers out. So that's going to be really, really cool. Let's see. So the wine dinner tomorrow night, New World Wines, $25. We only have 7 tables inside. We don't have much room for this. So I think there's a couple of seats left, 647 3000 if you want to book that. It's 4 wines and 1 dish, $25. It is a deal. It's a bargain. Speaking of groceries, we're bringing more grocery stuff in. H&H bagels were sold out. We sold the case like that. We sold a lot of bagels instantly like that. They come in frozen. H&H freezes them when they make them. You take them home, you thaw them, you pop them in your toaster, and you have a fresh, awesome bagel from H&H Bagels, known as, what is it, the world's best bagel or something? What's their tagline? Been in business in New York City since the 70s. They really make an awesome bagel. We'll be getting their plain cinnamon raisin and their everything back in stock. Their plain was out of stock from our distributor, and I have to make some more room in the freezer. I have to make more room in the freezers to bring a lot of this stuff in. We're getting more beet juice in this week. We've been out of beet juice for a while. Hopefully beet juice will be back in stock from our distributor. Beet juice is amazing for your heart. Nitric oxide is really an amazing. Beets are amazing health-wise, and crucial for good health, and really good for your lungs, oxygen, all that kind of stuff. Really cool stuff, especially if you're into running, working out, things like that. Beet juice is awesome for recovery. So beet juice really is an energy drink. If you mix beet juice and coconut water, half and half, or beet juice, coconut water, and a little bit of aloe vera juice, you would have an amazing, amazing athletic drink, sports nutrition drink. Really, really amazing. I've run many marathons with my bottles on, my backpack bottles that are mixed literally half fresh coconut water and half coconut water, half beet juice. So Karen's asking, is Mondays, Karen, we always have gluten-free for you, Karen. Always, always, always. So that is not a problem. If you have dietary needs, concerns, restrictions, allergies, just let us know. If we can accommodate, we'll be happy to accommodate. We can eliminate gluten out of a lot of things. We don't have that much gluten to begin with in the kitchen. Sesame, any kind of allergen things we're really, really good at. There's no MSG in any of our food. There's no sweet and low artificial sweeteners. There's no corn syrup. Even on our soda gun, there's no corn syrup. It's all sweetened with agave. So if you're avoiding anything like that, we can probably do a really good job for you. We don't cook with corn oil, so if you're avoiding corn or soy, so we can. That's very easy to do. So just talk to us ahead of time. All right. True story about fake wild salmon. So if you know anything about us, you know that we do not like farmed salmon. We're very, very anti-farmed open pen salmon. Closed containment salmon is a different situation. We still don't support closed containment salmon, but it's a totally different way of farming salmon, which makes a lot more sense. It costs about 7 times as much to farm inland in a closed containment system. You see some steelhead trout farms here in the Hudson Valley. They're doing closed containment system, inland closed containment system, totally different than the open pen nets. Open pen nets, when you go to buy farm salmon, is what you're typically getting. You're really never getting containment salmon, inland containment raised salmon. So just assuming that if it's a farm raised salmon, that you're getting the bad salmon. You just have to assume that right off the bat. So we get these great bagels in from H&H. We have organic cream cheese coming. If you want cream cheese from us as well, Organic Valley cream cheese is on its way. It will be here this week. We had to pre-order that from one of our vendors. They were out of stock. We're waiting for it to get back in stock. So that'll be back in this week. And I'm like, well, what goes great with a bagel? Well, smoked salmon. And it's very hard to find wild cold smoked salmon. It's available, you can find it, but it's not the easiest thing to find because the cheaper salmon floods the market. The farm raised salmon, it's $4 or $5 a pound for fillets. These companies buy it and they smoke it, and that's what they make lox out of, or Novi, whatever you want to call it, smoked salmon for your bagels. That's what they make that out of. It's at least half the price in a lot of cases as the wild salmon. So that's why a lot of places don't stock it, a lot of places don't even make it. Some smokehouses that do a ton of smoked salmon won't even touch wild salmon because it's just not in their realm, and it's a lot of companies out there like that. They won't even touch wild at all. It's strictly farm raised. So I call Acme Fish House in New York City. Acme is the big fish house in New York City, and I call them because our supplier, Alaska Gold, I'm talking to Kendall, our guy at Alaska Gold this week, and I say, Kendall, do you have? I need some smoked real wild salmon, right? I need some coho, some sake, whatever. And he goes, Marcus, we have hot smoked. It's not for bagels. It comes in chunks. It's not what you're looking for. However, we sell an insane amount of salmon to Acme, and they smoke it. You can have your lox for bagels. They have it. Call them over there. I said, great, thanks, Kendall. Appreciate it. So I call Acme, speak to the sales manager. And I said, okay, Kendall referred me from Alaska Gold. Says you buy a ton. He says you buy a ton of his salmon. We only serve wild salmon. I'm looking for smoked wild salmon lox for bagels. And he says, oh, okay, no problem. So he starts listing off, and the first one he lists is Norwegian salmon. I said, that's not wild. He goes, oh, it's Norwegian, but it's really good. It's a really good product. I said, no, I'm looking for wild salmon, not farm-raised salmon, wild salmon. Then he goes, okay, I have this organic smoked salmon. I said, no, you're not understanding. I want wild salmon. Like, I prefaced the conversation with Alaska Gold. Kendall told me to call you, said you buy a ton of his wild salmon. I'm looking for wild salmon. So he goes, I have this organic salmon. I said, no, I'm looking for wild salmon. He goes, okay, you'll probably really like this. It's a great product. He goes, it's this Chilean salmon. I said, no. You're not getting my point. Like, I want wild salmon. I know you have it. I called with a great reference point. I know you have it. He goes, oh, you want real wild salmon, don't you? I said, real? Yeah, I didn't know there was fake wild salmon. I want real wild salmon. He goes, oh, okay. Then we have this stuff from Alaska. But now if you're the average chef or if you're the average restaurant owner and you call a company and says, I need some wild salmon, and the sales rep, this is the sales manager, by the way, from Acme. And it would be interesting if Acme were to watch this, because hopefully they would learn from this video. Because they're now the authority, they're the expert. Restaurant owners don't get, and chefs don't really get involved in this kind of stuff. But you're calling a fish house, they need to know. So, and it's not like they don't have it, and it's not like, you know, he just was throwing off all these other things. He would rather sell me these other things before the other salmon, because there's not enough margin on the margin's less than the other salmon. Literally half the price or less for these cheap farmed salmon, smoked salmons. So, I say to him, I said, no, I want the real wild salmon. I want Alaskan salmon. I don't want the other salmon. But if you're an average chef, if you're an average restaurant owner, you call a company, especially a fish house, one of the most well-known fish houses in New York City, in New York metro area, and you're like, I need some wild smoked salmon. He goes, oh, I got this great Norwegian salmon for you. Here you go. You as the restaurant owner is now bringing this in and telling all of your guests and putting it on your menu, wild Norwegian salmon. And then all of a sudden people are thinking, well, yeah, Norway, wild salmon. Folks, there's not enough wild salmon in Norway, in Scotland, in the Atlantic to make viable commercial catches to be out there. There's a few commercial catches, but the stuff is super, super expensive, super expensive. It's 3-4 times the price of the best wild salmon you can buy. So twice the price. It's insane. It's literally like $50 a kilo, $100 a pound for this stuff. It's not like, and there's only a few fish that they will actually catch in these commercial runs. It's not like they're, you know, it's, so there's no such thing as being able to go buy Norwegian wild salmon. If you're in Paris and it's non-COVID and yeah, you want to buy wild Norwegian salmon, there's going to be a shop that probably has it for $50 a kilo. And they're only getting 5 or 6 fish, a dozen fish. That's it. I talked to Alistair last year from a very well-known English, London-based seafood distributor, and a company, he goes, Marcus, we get 2-3 fish at a time. That's it. And they're $50 a kilo, 50 euros a kilo. And he goes, that's it. He goes, there's no viable commercial catches of this stuff. So, but back to my story is, you have a restaurant owner that calls a great fish company like Acme or any other of these fish companies. They ask you for wild because you, the guests, know it's important to eat wild over farmed. Now the restaurant owner tells you, oh, I have wild smoked salmon, and you think you're eating wild Norwegian smoked salmon, and you're not. That is one way that this whole mess of fraud happens. That's one way that, I've talked about this many times. A lot of chefs just downright lie on their menu, and a lot of them just have no clue because they think if it comes from water that it's wild. There's literally a lot of chefs that think it comes out of the ocean, even if it's in nets, it's wild. I had a conversation with Maria Loy several years ago. She's one with the famous Greek restaurant in New York City, celebrity chef on Food Network. I think she was a judge, and I had a conversation with her on the phone, and she refused. She was serving an Atlantic farm salmon, and she refused, and she called me crazy. You're crazy. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, you need to change your menu. Your menu reflects something wrong. That you're misleading people. You're eating, I know farm salmon isn't any good, but I eat our wild Atlantic salmon every day. It's delicious. And because it comes from a net in an ocean, these people think that it's wild. And a lot of very well-known chefs will do this. If any of you ever caught my videos from 2009 from Tom Kleekiel lying about his grass-fed beef, that was a whole big thing that I got a little publicity for on that. But it doesn't matter if it's your restaurant around the street or it's a celebrity chef. These guys will mislead, sometimes on purpose, sometimes not on purpose. Rick Muin, the godfather of sustainable seafood, he's misleading you on purpose. He is 100% misleading people on purpose. He fabricates because he gets paid money. He gets paid money from Northern, one of these great, commercially raised or commercial brands of farmed salmon. True North. Martha Stewart takes money from them. Rick Muin takes money from them. All of a sudden, when they threw money at him, he changed his tune on if wild salmon, if farmed salmon's okay to serve, because he was very anti farm salmon for the longest time, and all of a sudden a company throws money at them, and you throw, I don't know, 25,000, who knows what it is, but you become a brand ambassador. They throw money on your plate, and all of a sudden, now all of a sudden this salmon's different. And that Rick Moon did that. Rick Moon did that. Martha Stewart does that. It's for sale on her website. This True North salmon that she thinks is so great, and it's not. And they even tell them, and say, it's better than wild salmon. It's not, and it just can't be. There's no right way to do the wrong thing when it comes to that. So your health is vitally important. You need to eat healthy food. If you're eating food that's pumped with hormones, antibiotics, chemicals, PCBs, dioxin, all these things, that only goes into your system and puts a strain on how your immune system is supposed to be working. So all that food, all that junk food, all that kind of stuff, and salmon has it all. Salmon is one of the most toxic foods out there. There's some great documentaries out there on salmon farms and a disaster it is, and it's all covered up by the government. The Canadian government covers all this stuff up because once they start reporting certain viruses and everything in the salmon, they have to officially shut down. And our friend Alexandra Morton, who lives in Canada and British Columbia, she has told them this stuff exists, the Canadian government, the fish ministry, and they're like, no, it doesn't, no, it doesn't, no, it doesn't, it doesn't exist here, it doesn't exist. So she actually went to the grocery store. I was also all on film. She goes to the grocery store in British Columbia, pulls samples of the wild farmed salmon from British Columbia that's farmed right there locally from the grocery store, buys it, sends it to the lab, and it tests positive for this virus that the Canadian government is denying exists. Because the Canadian government gives these people money. They subsidize them big time in Canada. The fish companies, this works everywhere, right? This is how politics works. This is how everything works. These companies have big money and they throw it around, and they can buy representatives, they can buy votes, they lobby pretty heavily, and they make all these big promises, and the people that are in position take the money, and as part of their elected job, they'll take the money, they'll take the bribe, they'll take whatever. And so now there's a very prolific salmon farming industry in Canada, and when you talk to the locals in these regions where the salmon farms are, they will tell you they've done nothing but pollute the area, have not really done the jobs that they say they're going to be doing, and just they're fed up because you can't get a librarian in a local village, but you can subsidize all this money to fish farms. And what happens in Canada when the fish go belly up, which happens all the time, every single region of farmed salmon has a mortality rate. Scottish salmon, supposed to be the best farmed salmon in the world, has like a 22% mortality rate. That means 22 out of every 100 fish die because they're living in filth. They're in these nets, they're sick fish, and these are what die, okay? So if Scottish salmon's the best, most prestigious farmed salmon in the world, which is Rick Moon is a fan of Scottish salmon too. If you went to any of his restaurants, and he has a sushi bar there, his sushi salmon is Scottish salmon. His salmon on his menu is True North from Canada, and he's supposed to be the godfather of sustainable food. I think Rick Moon would be a great politician because as soon as they threw money his way, he changed his tune and he justified what he does. Rick Moon is 100% for sale, and so is Martha Stewart. But other chefs, they just don't know, and they call places like Acme, and they get misled, and that's what happens. So their intention wasn't that bad, but like Rick Moon, 100% bad. And I a couple years ago in Vegas, this was 3 years ago in Vegas, I was going out there and I was tweeting him, and he knows who I am, because I've called him out on his tweets a lot of times about it and explained to me why your salmon's better than others, and I've never gotten an explanation from him. And one of the people we've interviewed on here knows him personally. One of the marine biologists knows him personally, and they've gotten into it with him too, and he just can't come back with anything, and because he has no defense when he starts talking to experts. When he starts talking to a normal consumer, his mumbo jumbo sounds good, and normal consumer will buy it. Same thing with Martha Stewart. She's out there in the boat. Oh, these are the true salmon farms here. Look how clean it is, this and that. And it's just normal consumer would buy it. But an educated person, Martha Stewart would just not be able to debate them. Neither could Rick Moon. They couldn't debate them. So I'm going out there. He knows who I am because I called him out on Twitter so many times. I'm coming out. I want to talk to you about your salmon. I'm coming out. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be there tomorrow. I want to talk about your salmon. So I get there, get into the Luxor, what's right next to the Luxor, whatever hotel's next to the Luxor, Mandalay Bay. Get in the Mandalay Bay. My expense for my conference was 10X GrowthCon. Grant Cardone's 10X GrowthCon was there. This was 3 years ago. And I walk into the front of the restaurant and I see him in the kitchen. I see him. He's back there. The open kitchen, I see him. And I sit at the bar, at the counter, and look at the menu. I say, is Rick here? May I ask who's here? Marcus Guiliano. And this was right after we had walked in and sat down. I was with my daughter, Courtney. And they go, he's not here. I said, he was just here. He was just here. I walked in, I saw him, he was just here. No, he's not here. So, after we ordered, I let the bartender in on my opinion. I was like, oh, tell me about this salmon, tell me about this, tell me that. And he's, oh, how sustainable it is, this, that. I started throwing figures at him and the stuff that he wasn't taught because Rick Moon was teaching them all something different. And he's like, really? He's like, I didn't know that. Of course you didn't know that because Rick's taking money. That's why I wanted to talk to Rick. Rick knows I'm coming. Rick was here. Rick knows I'm coming. And he was like, I didn't know. Then he gets the chef. Rick Moon's Chef de Cuisine comes out. And we start having a conversation, a friendly conversation. And I explain, I said, you're misleading people here on how healthy farm salmon is. And I went over all these statistics, went over all these things. He goes, I had no idea. I go, of course you have no idea. Because Rick's taking money. Rick is taking money and getting paid to pimp out their farmed salmon. So that's the stance here. That's what it is. I said, but here's the reality. I said, you're serving True North here on your menu. Right next to the sushi counter, which is 20 feet from us, you're serving Scottish salmon. And then went over all the stats on Scottish. He was like, I had no idea. I had no idea of all this. I said, of course. So did it make a difference? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just one person speaking up. And people will say, oh, Marcus, you're one person speaking up. Does it really make a difference? Well, the more I speak, the louder I speak, the more I educate, it does make a difference. And if you go into my YouTube channel, if you search all the salmon videos, collectively, all the salmon content that I posted on my YouTube channel has well over 6 or 7 million views, all the salmon content. So I'm one person who's speaking up that have reached 6 to 7, I don't even know the current stats. Maybe, let's just say 5 million. Let's say 5 million to be conservative. I've impacted or I've reached 5 million people on YouTube that have heard my opinion on salmon. So one person, one voice, bigger impact. So stand up for what you believe in. That's what Jamie and I do here. We always stand up for what we believe in. It's not worth it. That's just like I did on our Thanksgiving Day, our Thanksgiving event that we did for the Noonday Club. They asked us to come in at a really, really, really inexpensive, cheap price. And he goes, you won't be able to really use, your good turkey. And I was like, I don't want to cook cheap turkey. I don't want to go to Walmart and pay 68 cents a pound for turkey. We all know what this is. It's mass produced. I want to hopefully get free range, something better in turn. But 68 cents versus 4 or 5 times that price is a big difference. So, I was like, well, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do it for the very, very reduced price. But I'm not going to buy that tuna, buy that turkey. I'd rather take a loss on it or whatever and do as a donation or whatever. But I ended up saying, okay, here's what I did. I added $1 onto our Thanksgiving Day dinner. Instead of 25 or 26, I charged 27. And I said, okay, now I have $150 extra dollars. I'll take that $150 in my mind and now put that towards a better quality turkey. And that's what I did. So I charged more for something else that was still a good value and put that money towards a high quality turkey. So we didn't have to rely upon cheap and expensive turkeys to make a profit. I never want to be able to do that. I never want to do that. It's not a good feeling when you jeopardize your standards to make a living or to make money. And a lot of business owners, that's what they're about. A lot of business owners, especially restaurant owners. There is a ton of restaurant owners that they will shop at Whole Foods for their family. All right, they'll go to Whole Foods type stores, Whole Foods. They will buy organic milk. They will buy all these because they understand, they know the difference. But then when they turn around in their restaurant, they turn around and buy the cheapest possible products, and have a conflict, a dilemma here, conflict of morals, of values. I don't want to be that person. I'm not that person. But there's a lot of restaurant owners. I know a lot of them. That hey, this is what we eat at home, and this is what I go to work with, and this is what I make money with, and it's okay if I do it there, but not in my home. All right. Some restaurant owners won't even allow certain food inside their house. But they'll go to the restaurant and they'll buy all this cheap food for the restaurant and make money. So Jamie and I just don't feel good doing that. I don't feel good doing that at all. So, and I'm not saying we're perfect. By no means am I saying we're perfect, but we're always moving forward. We're always trying better things. And when I find better things, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, great. Let's start using this product now. So, okay. Greg goes, I was in the shower. Can you repeat the part after Norwegian? You can go watch it, Greg. I think Greg's being funny. So, hi, Gina. Thank you very much for dropping a comment. Gina's my cousin. So a bunch of other people are on. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. We open at 3 o'clock today. Last day of the ribeye special. $9.99 to go. In-house, it's $19.99. To go is $9.99. Our entrees do not come with sides. We lowered the prices a lot this last year during COVID. We dropped the prices a lot. That ribeye used to be $29. The salmon used to be $29. Now the salmon's like $16.99. But you choose if you want rice or vegetables. What was happening a lot was people would come in and say, I just want a piece of salmon with a little bit of vegetables. And they wouldn't want the rice. I want the steak, but I don't want any potatoes. I'm doing keto. I just want the steak and some vegetables. So skip the potatoes. And this was like very common, much more common than years ago with everybody's diets that they're on. And so it's just easier to say, okay, let's just drop the prices drastically, remove the sides, and you pick what you want, make it easier. So now, when you order broccoli, you don't get the smaller portion you used to get. You get now a big portion of broccoli that really is enough for 2 people almost a lot of times. For potatoes, you get 7 potatoes, 6 potatoes, depending on the size. That's enough. You used to get 3 potatoes on a regular order. So again, we just tried to increase the value. So if you buy a burger for the lower price, and this happened back in May, we started doing this. If you buy the burger and both of you want potatoes, you just buy 1 order of potatoes. That's it. So that's $6 for the potatoes is enough for 2. And before, so it comes out in your favor. What comes out in our favor is we're going through less vegetables, or we're going through less potatoes. We have to cook potatoes ahead of time, and then once you're done with them, you can't reuse them. They got to be thrown out. It's really hard to reuse a roasted potato. So we've cut down our inventory and on cooking a lot of this stuff, so it helps us be more efficient, and that's where we save money. So you get to pick what you like, and we become more efficient. And when we used to do our vegetables, if you remember, we used to have bok choy and zucchini. We used to have all these vegetables in our vegetable medley mix. And then we just now say, okay, here's the broccoli. It's always broccoli. And then we try to do other local veggies. Like, so we have right now local Romanesco, local cauliflower, which is almost done. And we have local spaghetti squash. So you have choices of what, and helps us move those other things. We would put spaghetti squash in the menu last year as a special vegetable. Why would you order spaghetti squash special vegetable when all your food comes with vegetables already? It didn't make sense, and we could never sell things like that. So same thing with Romanesco. We'd have to put all this into the veggie mix and automatically put it in. But now if someone wants a bowl of Romanesco, local, organic, Peterson Farms Romanesco, they can buy it. So that's the story with that. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. I've got to get to work now. Everybody, thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate it. So without you, we wouldn't be here. All right, folks, talk to you later.